Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is Grim, and I'm bringing you a brand new review for House of the Dragon. And today we had episode 7, and boy, this was a hell of an episode. I can't even lie. This was a pretty damn good episode. And let's go over it because I have a lot to say. So, we begin the story off with a very awkward funeral, right? Because at the end of the previous episode, we all know Rhaenyra, she died. So this led to obviously a funeral for her held at Driftmark. So this scene, there wasn't a ton of talking. There was like maybe one or two conversations here or there, but you could feel the tension in the air because you could tell, my God, this family is going to be torn. This whole thing is going to be torn apart. You can just tell the tension underneath the surface is getting unbearable between all the sides, right? You have Daemon's kind of almost indifference towards it. He kind of even chuckles, but it was probably a chuckle out of just realizing this whole situation just unfolded, right? You have Rhaenyra kind of being whatever about it, while her children, rightfully so, especially her oldest son, kind of is like, hey, why aren't we gonna go, the funeral of my father because he burned alive in Harrenhal. She's like, no, 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 we can't have that. We can't have anybody know about that. So that's happening. Aegon is looking more and more like a drunk. And let's see. We also have what else happened? If I remember correctly, you had Lenoro. Laenor. I'm trying to remember his name. I apologize. I had just finished the episode, so forgive me for, you know, trying to come up with my thoughts as we go along. And so we had the whole funeral scene ends, and it kind of leaves everything off on kind of an awkward note, right? Some things kind of lingering in the air, right? Especially the tensions between Rhaenyra and Alicent. It's very much you can see how much they don't like each other. So this moves on to the next kind of important scene, which is Corlys and his wife are arguing. Well, not arguing, they're having a conversation about, what to do next, because now that their only daughter just passed away, they want to honor her legacy, or rather the queen who never was, she wants to honor her daughter's legacy by giving Driftmark to her daughters, and allowing them to inherit Driftmark. Meanwhile, Corlys is like, yeah, no, and even says a very interesting line where he says, history does not remember blood. History remembers only names. And I guess that's going to definitely play into the rest of the series as names, as you read through a lot of stuff, even in his actual historical books, names are what matter. So there's almost a rationale for his reasonings, or his rationale for wanting to, his name and his family's name to be remembered by the annals of history. Now, this isn't the only thing that's going on as we speak. As of like around this same time, we have a moment between Daemon and Rhaenyra where they're talking about how Rhaenyra is like, oh, you left me alone, you left me alone all these years, and all this other kind of stuff. And it does lead to Rhaenyra and Daemon having sex because, as Rhaenyra says in the scene, I'm not a child anymore, right? Implying that maybe because since she was so young, it might have had something to do with why he was so uninterested in her at the time. Um, it was an interesting scene. It does have big implications for what happens at the very end of it. Now, while again on this exact same night time frame, Aemon, the second oldest son of Alicent and Viserys, he is going around looking for a dragon because he realizes Vhagar has no more rider anymore because Lenora died. So they're like, hey, it needs a rider. And the kid, look, I thought for a moment the kid was going to be barbecue. I'm not going to lie. But he did the impossible. He managed to tame the damn dragon, even got to ride it. And it kind of, I'll be honest, the one thing I will say I like about this so far has really been seeing dragons, seeing all this stuff, just seeing these mythical beasts that's talked about in the original Game of Thrones series and see them like on screen flying around and having the kind of almost, as one character will say later on, the importance of these creatures and why they've been so vital to the Targaryen rule for so long, right? However, him getting his hands on Vhagar does not go unnoticed. Let's just say a lot of the other kids of Rhaenyra's two sons and Daemon's two daughters, let's just say they're not happy. Because one of them was like, one of the daughters of Daemon was like, that dragon was for me. That was the only thing I had left of my mother. And Aemon's like, tough luck. I fucking got it. You didn't. It leads to a fight, and it leads to a regrettable action that's spurred on some way bigger issues. I should say it led to a much bigger fight because one of Rhaenyra's children not accidentally, he intentionally, took a knife and he basically slashed at Aemon's face, cutting one of his eyes and basically rendering it useless. So that happened, and we're all like, well, shit, this is not going to end well. So it leads to then a confrontation between Rhaenyra, Alicent, Viserys, everybody basically, because they're trying to figure out what the hell happened that led to the kids getting into this kind of fight, right? And then it leads to an uncomfortable conversation because then Rhaenyra's oldest child then says Aemon called us bastards, which therefore brought up the uncomfortable topic surrounding the father and the heritage of their blood, or the heritage of their family, right? And Viserys being I like Viserys because he's been the only character who seems to be like the only one who's trying his best to hold everything together out of the sake of family and all this other kind of, kumbaya. He's willfully ignorant or unwilling to see the truth of the matter is that, because then Aemon, he did two things. He looked at his mother, which Viserys saw that, and he looked over at Alicent and went, "Oh God, don't tell me you're the one who's putting these, in Viserys' mind, these lies into our children's mind." But then Aemon actually said out loud, "Aegon." Viserys then interrogates Aegon, and Aegon had the balls that I didn't think anybody else had the balls to say. He says, "Just look at them." And it's a painful reality to point out how both of Viserys' children, despite the fact that there was always a chance because blonde is a recessive trait. Yes, I know this is like high school biology, but blonde is a recessive trait, right? So therefore it means there's a better chance for somebody like Alicent's hair color to come out. How is that despite the fact that Rhaenyra having children with another pure-blooded, or as close as you can get pure-blooded Valyrian, somehow both of her kids come out, with brown hair. One even has curly brown hair. A trait that is nowhere seen on the anywhere in the Valyrian family. It brings up an uncomfortable reality, and it then leads to a confrontation where Alicent, in a moment of losing her temper, demands for one of Rhaenyra's children, the one responsible for cutting Aemon's eye out, slashing at his face, demanding that his eye be removed as like a fair exchange. This even led to a moment where she asks Sir Criston, who's been her protector and whatnot, and who kind of even despises heavily Rhaenyra herself, to do that to the kid. And even Sir Criston was like, "My lady, I'm just your protector. I don't do that kind of shit. That's too much even for me." So it then led to Alicent taking her husband's blade, the one written with the whole prophecy of A Song of Ice and Fire, and tries to basically do that to one of Rhaenyra's kids. It ends up with her cutting Rhaenyra along the wrist or along the arm. So yeah, a lot of blood, but it wasn't anything that was gonna, as long as it got cleaned up, she would live. So that's fine. Now, this ends in a moment of everybody was just like, "What? Everybody take a cool, everybody take 5 and walk the fuck away." So this then leads to a moment between Alicent and her father Otto, who has returned as Hand of the King. That was one detail I forgot to mention. He returned as Hand of the King, despite what happened in one of the early episodes where Viserys chose, Rhaenyra over Otto. And look at what happened. Otto's back in town. Where Otto basically, Alicent said everything she thought she needed to say, which was she scolded herself. She said everything she did was stupid, that was unbecoming of her, and all this other shit. Otto then said, "Sure, but I like it though." because he said the honest truth is, he said the one, as I said or alluded to earlier, what Aemon did by getting, by taming Vhagar and claiming Vhagar for himself, you know, this was a line that even Aemon said that it was worth the price, right? Because even Otto's like, getting his hand, for Aemon to get his hands on a dragon like that is worth 1,000 cuts. That is, it was important for the boy to get his hands on that dragon for our side. And this leads to a much bigger topic that is unfolding. There is a conflict brewing on the horizon, right? And Rhaenyra is about to prepare for it herself, and Alicent is preparing for it. And you can tell these two women are basically fueling this arms race that is about to unfucking fold. And this conflict that is about to tear apart the kingdom. Right? Because you have, then this leads to Rhaenyra recruiting Daemon to her side through not only marriage, because she knows she's going to need Daemon in the long run, as not only as someone to stand by her side throughout this entire mess, but also as a warrior, as somebody who's been to war. Same thing with Alicent. She had Lionel's only remaining son, who was responsible for not only for orchestrating the death of his father and his older brother, and him saying the same thing of, I am at your service. I am at your, I am loyal to you, my lady. And all of this, and the one thing that does happen, which I'm tempted to believe about, I don't know, I have thoughts on this. Daemon said that he can't marry her unless, Lenora is out of the way, unless he's out of the way. And so, what the thing, however, is that Daemon hired Lenora's, his lover / friend to basically kill him. The problem I think happened is that I think that didn't happen, is that Lenore, I think, was meant to die. I don't think he was meant to escape. So that's already a wrinkle in the plan that I think was not intended by Rhaenyra or Daemon. So that happened. Now, those are just about the general events of the episode, but for me, I really liked this episode. Honest to God, I really liked it because it did something. It set up the chessboard. You see the chessboard starting to form. Everybody's plucking the pieces. Vhagar went to Alicent's side, after, and with Aemon becoming the new rider of him. Daemon's going to Rhaenyra's side, right? You see this chessboard setting up. Once Viserys is knocked out, his piece is knocked off the board after he dies. All hell is gonna probably break loose not long afterwards. I don't know if we're gonna see it this season. We might see it at the very tail end, but it is definitely gonna end very, very poorly because this looks like a war that's brewing, and my God, am I excited for it. So, really like this episode, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you enjoyed the review. I decided to keep it sweet and simple because, again, wanted to get it out there, wanted to be on, a little bit quicker than I've been the last couple of weeks. Anyway, folks, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Let me know what you guys think. Do you think that this is going to lead to some really, really awesome battles, or is this going to be a really bad, awesome battles for us to watch? I don't know if Westeros wants to see dragons fighting dragons. That's going to be an interesting, whole thing to see. So, hope you guys enjoyed. I hopefully will be on time next week as well. So, let me know what you guys think. Leave a comment, like the video, and if you want to see more like this, subscribe because it doesn't cost you a damn dime. Anyway, guys, I'll see you guys later.